Hi, good afternoon. My name is Jose Miranda Velasquez. This video is for Psych 300-01. This is week five's discussion, to where we are asked to provide six substages of sensory motor intelligence, infant memory, and language development, and to discuss potential impacts of attachment on a child's psychosocial development, and to provide examples of separation anxiety. I'm using my phone. I took my notes on my phone, given that I would have to create the video. So here we go. For my six, I have reflexes, which I would categorize as number one. Uh, and they range from birth to 1 month. Then there's primary circular reaction, which goes between 1 month to 4 months. And then there's a secondary circular reaction, which goes from months 4 to 8. After that, there's coordination of secondary circular reaction. Excuse me, and that goes from 8 months to a year. And then there's I always struggle with this word. Tertiary circular reaction, which is a year and a half to 2 years. And then lastly is there's mental representation, to where it's a year and a half to 2 years. What number five is a year to a year and a half, and then number six is a year and a half to 2 years. So during these stages, the child may either develop something to where they know that they'll get the reaction that they want, um, based on a noise, based on reaction, whether it's them crying and the mom parents are automatically assume that they will give them a bottle of milk, or get them the attention that they want or the attention that they need, to where they start to develop an understanding of doing certain activities, to where they start to develop the understanding of doing such thing will get me the goal that I want, or will achieve the goal that I am looking for. And lastly, I mean, it ends at to where, or at the aspect of where using certain words, maybe like mama or dada or papa, being able to pronounce these words, um, I would say that falls into the category of the mental representation, to where they're able to use these words or symbols or things that they have gathered that will create or get a reaction out of mom or dad. For the language and memory development in infants, um, infants are able to recall. They have a recollection of memories between a certain age. The early on years, I would say the recollection of their memory is constrained. They might not remember. They might not be able to put two and two together. But from a certain age on, I would even be willing to say maybe 6 months to a year on, they're able to recollect things, and their memory, um, at that point, I would say, has improved essentially. So they're able to recall things during this brief period of time, to where they're able to get what they want, or they're able to uh, recall what something tasted like if they were to be given chocolate or soda or something. And then their language development itself, at 6 months, it starts to develop, not so much with words, but by making noises, or by making, uh, I don't know, I guess noises is the one. And that, with those noises, they're able to gain attention, whether it's a noise itself, or whether it's a laugh. I know a lot of people like to listen to little kids when they laugh. It's the most cutest thing on earth. Um, but like I said, it's not until later on, where they're almost a year and a half to 2 years, is where they start to be able to pronounce, a word or two, and then it eventually becomes a phrase or a whole um, sentence, essentially, because it's constantly being repeated, or it's constantly being so much repetitiveness that they're able to pronounce the whole word or make it into a phrase. Um, for question number three, as far as discussing the potential impacts of attachment on a child's psychosocial development, I'd say that a child's psychological or psychosocial development is very influenced on attachment. Needing trust, emotional stability. Um, those are things that, as a child growing up, is something that they look for. Um, and it's something that they need to where it would improve their emotional connection and their social connection to be able to interact with others. I would say that, as an example for separation anxiety, I feel like an example that I've seen very common is when mom goes to leave, she hands off the baby to dad, and obviously so one of the baby will grow attachment to one or the other. But so mom or dad go to leave and they hand the baby over to the other parent, and then the baby turns and sees the parent that's leaving and begins to cry. Um, and starts to kind of turn their body and put their arms out and wanting to go back with that other adult or that other parent. Um, that would be the only separation anxiety that I can think of off the top of my head right this second. Um, but they do get upset, they get nervous, they tend to start crying the minute that they're handed off to a different either relative or parent or family member. Um, and as they get older, I mean, once the baby develop, or once that child start to talk and start to get older, then obviously they would be words and not so much crying, but more so sobbing. Um, I would say they would display their anxiety even more, or it's at least more noticeable, where they'll panic. Um, I don't know, just some examples here. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. But thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Let me know if you agree with me or not. All right, thanks, guys. Bye.